where she is on the floor at all times.
Thank you, Matt. And Pulliam will be one of the players in the starting five. That'll be Sydney Wood, Lindsey Pulliam, Veronica Burton, Abby Wolf, and Abby Scheid for the Wildcats. We'll get you the Terps 5 in just a second as we are underway in a tie-up at the top of the key to start. Maybe now a good time to get to those Maryland 5. It'll be Shakira Austin, Kyla Charles, Taylor Mikesell, Blair Watson, and Stephanie Jones. And this is a pretty familiar lineup we've seen for both teams so far.
Absolutely, and a jump already to start the beginning of the game. You're going to see a lot of bodies on the floor today because this game means a lot to both teams.
So we'll go one more time. And it will be controlled by Stephanie Jones on the far side for Maryland. The Terps wearing the all-white uniforms today. Kyla Charles now recently reaching 1,800 career points. Feed all the way over to Watson. A three from the corner is good. Watson fires Maryland into the lead early on.
That's a big shot for her, especially to get the energy ready. That's what Coach Freeze has talked about. She wants to get the Terps going early.
Watson hasn't had immense success this year from behind the arc like she has in years past, but she's off to a quick start here against Big Ten rivals Northwestern. Now the Wildcats will have a go for the near side. Pulliam feeds down low and up, and the floater is good. That one coming from Abby Wolf.
And that's one thing Austin is going to have to do early is establish position so that Abby doesn't get anything easy.
Mid-range two is good from Stephanie Jones. How many times have we seen that shot go in from Steph over the years?
Way too many. And the crazy part about it is, we talked about it earlier, Brendan. We thought this may be a little bit of a defensive battle, but I think this is going to be a pretty high-scoring game.
Over to the far side, Sydney Wood out of Olney, Maryland, went to St. John's College High School. Now the far side, out of Silver Spring, is Lindsey Pulliam. Good fake there, and she catches it.
Time and time again, Lindsey Pulliam's jump shot is elite, especially her 1-2 pull-up. She knows how to get to her kill spots every time.
Shakira Austin down low, tries the reverse, but it's blocked. Stephanie Jones gets it, and it's good. Jones has 4 points early on.
And it's not that these teams aren't playing great defense. It's just that there's better offense right now.
Wood at the top, deflected by Austin, but it's able to stay with the Wildcats through Abby Scheid. Now Burton at the top, 10 to shoot for the Wildcats. Now 5, Burton has to go quickly. Around the far side, feeds into the middle, and it's going to be a shot clock violation. We talked about maybe a defensive battle. It's a good defensive stop by the Terps.
Absolutely. I want to talk about Shakira Austin. Guarding guards at the top of the key. Her length, she's able to guard guards. She's able to guard bigs. She can do it all.
Austin now in her sophomore season had a very impressive freshman year, breaking the record for blocks in a single season. Mikesell was the intended target, but it's stolen by Sydney Wood. Wood goes down, tries to draw the contact. It's blocked and pulled down by Watson. Looking to transition quickly. Watson puts up the floater. No good. Austin the rebound. She fights through traffic down low. And eventually it goes out and will stay with Maryland.
I think Austin was anticipating the foul rather than just going up right there.
Mikesell on the inbound for the Terps. Lobs it all the way up to Kyla Charles. Charles, a great game last time out. 20 points in the win over Illinois on the road. She misses that one. Austin the rebound, put it on the underside of the rim. Now the Wildcats come away through Veronica Burton, when they call the backcourt burglar. Leads the conference in steals. She steps back a long three and missed that one off the back of the iron. Mikesell corrals for the Terps. Spin things back out top to Watson.
And that's one thing, right? So Kyla Charles right now calling the offense. Taylor Mikesell just needs to set it up. She's the point guard out there.
Wood is double teamed in the corner with Charles and Stephanie Jones. And now we'll see the freshman check into the game. Ashley Owusu is having a very good first year for Brenda Freeze. Out of Woodbridge, Virginia, was the Big Ten Freshman of the Week back on November 18th and the 25th. November, a good month for Owusu. It's Wolf at the top. She gets it off to Veronica Burton. Now the far side, Pulliam out of Silver Spring, Maryland. A couple players from Maryland on Northwestern's team. But a turnover for the Wildcats, and it goes back to Maryland.
And that possession got lucky there because there was late help side on Abby Weed. They have to watch her every single time.
Owusu now run the point, allowing Mikesell to play a bit more off the ball. Here is Mikesell now. Feeds down to Stephanie Jones. Going inside, puts it up with the right hand, missed it short. Almost gets the rebound. Charles puts it up and draws the foul. Kyla Charles still scoreless in this game so far, but it's a scoring drought of almost 2.5 minutes for both teams.
You know, it doesn't always look pretty, but it works.
So Charles will head to the line. Having a very good season, as we mentioned, in her final year. 73% from the charity stripe this season. Good on the first attempt, her first points of the afternoon.
And one thing I worried about with Charles, with all these good freshmen coming in and her getting more help, how would she be able to adapt with her game? And she's done a phenomenal job.
Down the other way is Burton. Had it stripped, and it goes out of bounds. But will stay with the Wildcats under the basket.
That's great defense by Charles, not fouling. You see Burton goes down, gets her shoulder in, but Charles just straight up.
Shied at the top, defended by Watson. Now Pulliam. Trapped there and goes up to Jordan Hamilton, who recently checked into the game. 10 to shoot for Northwestern. Here's Pulliam, 5 to shoot. Stopped her dribble. Long three at the end of the shot clock, and she banked it in. The bank's open on Sunday, apparently.
You got to call that.
And a heat check on the other end from Taylor Mikesell. The two teams just trading blows here.
Right back at her. When someone shoots on you, you got to go right back at them. And it looks like Mikesell might get pretty hot.
Really struggled earlier in the Big Ten season, especially with her three-point shooting, but has really come a long way over the past couple of games. Almost able to steal it there. And shot put up, no good. It's still bouncing around on the near side. Owusu able to keep it in. Mikesell feeds down. Watson, Charles, layup, it's in. What a sequence by the Terrapins, and Northwestern calls timeout.
It doesn't get any prettier than that.
The players for Maryland in the last several years, breaking a lot of records.
She is, and we talked about it earlier, she's an all-star. When we talk about her breaking into the points record, breaking into that points and rebounds record, she's up there with the Alyssa Thomas, the Marissa Colemans, the Crystal Langhorns, and she has been dominant. We've known her for so long. I remember she would come here in 8th grade playing against us, and she's always been that good, and I'm so hyped for her.
Charles' shot is no good, but there's going to be a foul called on Hamilton. She had 3 already. So Faith Masonis will head to the line. When you talk about Kyla Charles, even for somebody that hasn't known her since 8th grade, it still feels like she's been here for a long time, because her entire career, she's contributed so much for Maryland and just broke over that 1,800 career point mark.
And it's crazy. She's one of those players where you're like, dang, you're still here? It's great for Maryland, but I know the other teams are heartbroken.
So Faith Masonis registers her first point of the day from the free throw line. And her second rattles home as well. 4-point lead for Maryland right now with 7 to play here in the fourth quarter. A result that could have pretty big implications on the Big Ten standings. Northwestern tied for first, and Maryland right behind. Fed into the middle for Pulliam. Tries to lob it down low, but Owusu gets the crucial touch to put it out of bounds. Owusu quietly 8 points, 4 assists, but has done a lot on both ends of the floor.
Yes, she has. And I just love watching her play because every game she gets better.
Pulliam stepped out of bounds and it goes back to Maryland. So Taylor Mikesell has it across the timeline now. Blair Watson. Over to Kyla Charles. Driving baseline. Massonis puts it up and cashes in.
Big shot by Massonis. Just there at the right time. And who does it come from? None other than Kyla Charles.
Here's Mikesell now. Maryland, all the momentum. Up with the left hand. Can't get the roll. Tipped around. Watson puts it up and in. 54-46 is the Maryland lead.
And when Maryland plays like this is a team that's fun to watch and hard to stop. This is the team that Coach Freeze has been begging them to play like.
Response on the other end. So Abby Shy gets the three-point bucket, and then there's a timeout called. Currently. So Maryland has the inbound with Blair Watson. Bit more intense press put in by the Wildcats, but they'll back off. Now Owusu has it on the near side. Blair Watson at the top, back to Mikesell. And now Owusu has it. Puts it up in traffic and can't get it to rattle home, but eventually it falls back to Owusu, who puts it up and in. How about the tenacity from the freshman?
She's different. I love how she plays. And when she gets going, it's scary. And she just does things that you wouldn't expect because she is a freshman. But that's how skilled Ashley Owusu is.
Northwestern trying to find some sort of response on the other end. Wood steps in, mid-range two. Missed it off the backside of the iron. And Massonis pulls away for Maryland. Coming down has Mikesell for help, but she'll take it as she spins. A lot of contact there, and a blocking foul against Northwestern. How about another freshman?
I love them both. Watch this. Gets a little lucky. But hey, it works. And like we said earlier, when you're on the road, you have to be 10 points better.
Maryland's about 7 points better right now at home with 4.5 to play. Faith Massonis is at the line for the Terps. Had 8 points in the last game against Illinois, and that was her most since they played Georgia State back in mid-December. Again, part of Brenda Freeze's top 10 recruiting class coming in this season. Can't get the first attempt to go. She's also one of 10 kids. It's a fact I never really get to pull out too much, but.
And she has a younger sister, Hope Massonis, who is very good at basketball. So we could see another potential Terp.
We've seen some sister duos for Brenda Freeze's team in the past. Now here's Burton over to Wood at the top. Burton over to Wood. 10 to shoot for the Wildcats. Puts it up. Pulliam tips around, and eventually Blair Watson flicks it off to Ashley Owusu. Maryland content with just taking a little bit of the air out of this game right now. We're going to see Jordan Hamilton check back into the game momentarily for the Wildcats. Owusu at the top of the key looking to drive. Puts it up with the right hand and cashes in. Owusu has 12 points today, the freshman.
When she wants to play, you can't stop her at all.
Going to be a kick called against Maryland, so we'll stay with the Wildcats. As I mentioned, Jordan Hamilton coming back into the game. Another look here from that Owusu drive.
Automatic bucket. When she gets into the paint, you can't stop her. And she is so crafty that she's always able to find a way to score.
Pulliam puts it up, rattles that one in.
Her elevation every time Every bucket she's made has been contested.
Stolen here away. Watson, who normally is the one making the steal, but the Terps win it back. Mike Sell with 10 points so far today. 2 of 6 from behind the arc. Charles, long 2. Missed that one. Masonis pulls down the strong board, puts it up. Can't get the and one. But we'll head to the line to shoot 2. Foul coming on Lindsey Pulliam. And Masonis really kind of shining here in the fourth quarter.
She's been phenomenal. Both the freshmen. You mentioned it earlier. When they start to figure it out, that's the scary part. This is the time of the season where Coach Freeze needs this team to believe and really turn it around. And what I'm seeing right here, this is a really great team.
So Wolf battling down low. So it goes to the Wildcats. I'm not quite sure if this is my place right now, but it might be worth mentioning as it has been confirmed by many sources, and it's been reported that Kobe Bryant has passed away in a helicopter crash, just coming in from TMZ, but then confirmed by a lot of sources. So in the basketball world, a very, very sad day, very sour note, but I figured might be worth bringing up considering probably a lot of people on these teams in this arena watching these games could be affected by that. The 3 by Hamilton is good.
Yeah, I think we're both a little bit shooken up, to be honest. And I have a personal relationship with Kobe Bryant and just such a great mentor and a believer and a teacher for the women's game. So it's very sad.
Down low is Scheid. We'll try to get on with the action the final 2 minutes. This is obviously still a momentous game going on right now. Here is Hamilton at the top, defended by Owusu. Now Burton looking to drive on Watson, puts it up and draws the foul. That will come on Faith Masonis. Another look here, and Burton, just another one of those tenacious players that really likes to get in the lane.
She does a really great job of drawing contact because every time you see, she kind of leans into the defender, but she's able to do it in a way where it works to her benefit, right? Where she's not getting called for the offensive charge, or whereas some other players don't have that much craft in their game and skill to just be aware and know that.
Burton misses that one. She's at 13 points currently on the day after putting up 22 against Michigan State, which was really a huge win. Michigan State was very, very good at home, and Northwestern breaking that streak. And so we'll see Sydney Wood come back into the game again out of Olney, Maryland. Played for St. John's College High School, 2-time DC State champion in high school. Question for somebody that played in the area and knows all this: how can you be a DC State champion? Just out of curiosity.
It's hard.
Okay, I was going to say, it doesn't really make sense to me, but nonetheless.
Very, very.
Taylor Mike still at the top, over to Owusu. Cross-court pass. Watson, 3, corner, good. A Kobe 3 from Blair Watson. The Terps are starting to pull away a little bit here with about 90 seconds left in this contest. Pulliam, now Burton in the corner, puts it up and airballs that one right into the welcoming arms of Stephanie Jones. Now Mikesell will back it out and lay it off to Owusu.
And you know, it's an 8-point game, but it doesn't feel like
No, not at all.
Obviously, a lot can still happen with 1 minute and 12 seconds left, but this game just feels like it's tied.
Yeah. Taylor Mikesell at the line. She has 10 points today, her first trip to the charity stripe, and eventually gets the roll. Agonizing there for Taylor Mikesell, but eventually finds its way through the basket. Mikesell obviously last year Big Ten Freshman of the Year. For the first time today, we'll see Birdie Galernick coming to the game for the Wildcats. Senior out of Toledo, Ohio. She played 1 minute in the last game against Maryland. It looks like she'll get 1 minute here. Up to Hamilton. Gets the screen from Scheid and looks to go in against Stephanie Jones. Feeds it all the way over. Eventually, Burton able to keep that one and a little hop, skip, and a jump. But kicks it over to Hamilton. Puts up a high three and clean.
Wow.
That was impressive. Now the foul is going to be called against Veronica Burton.
It's a great shot.
45.7 seconds left. So Owusu again at the line. 4 of 4, perfect for the freshman today at the stripe. When you look at the rebounding margin, it continues to get wider and wider. Maryland has 43 to Northwestern's 28. So Owusu makes the first attempt. It's 66-58 Maryland. Like we said, this has some pretty big implications on the top of the standings. If she can't make the first one, Northwestern will fall to 7-2 in conference. Maryland will rise to 7-2. Blair Watson receives and puts it to Owusu and back to Mike Selton. The foul coming against Galernick.
And I gotta say, Brendan, the scariest part about this is the fact that they did this without Shakira Austin.
Yeah.
And if you think like that, a team, when you're able to step up when one of your best players goes down, that's the sign of a great team. And I'm sure Coach Freeze is going to be harping about that in the locker room, because Austin is a huge part on both ends of what Maryland does.
Interesting to get those test results this week and see if she'll be out, and if so, how long. Like I said, Maryland will rise to 7-2. Northwestern falls to 7-2, and then Blair Watson with a steal. But then you have the Michigan State-Iowa game coming up. Watson clear on the other end, puts it up and in. That is the dagger. She scored the first points of the game. She might as well have scored the last points as well. As Pulliam puts it up, and, well, no, she doesn't. But
she said right back at you. I know it's a little too late, but.
So Mike Sell will walk this one out, and Maryland gets a huge conference win on their home floor over Northwestern. It was billed as a top 25 matchup. It was impressive all the way around, and we got exactly what we wanted out of this game. Kyla Charles sent us into the break with a very impressive play. And now the Terps are up 13-7. Brennan Hartlove, Chloe Pavlik here for the Big Ten Network. We'll have more on Charles's milestones in her senior season a bit later on. But now the Wildcats in possession up top with Hamilton. Shot clock again winding down for the Wildcats. Here is Burton going through the lane. Has it stripped, but there's going to be a foul called against Kyla Charles. So with 4 seconds on the shot clock, the Wildcats will have the inbound.
And that's tough. That's one of those you just don't want to happen. All right, shot clock winding down. You want to make them take a tough shot, and instead, now she has to go to the bench.
So Faith Masonis will check into the game, the freshman out of Spring Lake, New Jersey. Burton is at the top. It's 15 on the shot clock now. Floater up off the glass and in again, using the window to her advantage.
Burton just does great things on both sides. Offense, defense, she is the leader, and Northwestern really follows her.
Mike Sell able to keep it in on the near sideline. Feed down low. Masonis brings it down. Bounce pass. Jones is in. 2 great offensive plays back-to-back for Maryland.
And I got to tell you, Faith Her court vision is phenomenal, especially for a freshman. She's able to see plays before they even happen, and her ability to play both inside and out just takes her game to another level.
There's going to be an offensive foul called against Northwestern. So it's going to go back to the Terps, and they've had a lot of good success. They've made 3 of their last 3 from the floor. Owusu brings it across the timeline. Here she is again, feeds down low. Jones up, absorbed a lot of contact, no foul. Now Hamilton sprinting down the other end, puts it up, and a foul will be called against Maryland. So Jordan Hamilton, the junior out of Frisco, Texas. Only 2 points in the last game against Michigan State, but taking it strong to the hole.
Yeah, and there's definitely contact there. It's not a bad foul by Owusu, but just another foul. I don't think that's needed. I think just run by her, see if she can make the contested layup.
So coming into the game is Diamond Miller, the freshman guard. And Hamilton not able to make the first free throw. 7 of 9 from the stripe this season. Hasn't had too many opportunities, but makes the second. 15-10 here with 3 minutes to play in the first quarter. Bit of a higher press going into effect for the Wildcats. Mikesell hands off to Miller. Feeds inside. Here's Stephanie Jones from the top of the key. No good. And the rebound pulled down by Veronica Burton. Burton, an impressive 22 points in the win over Michigan State.
That's defense by Miller.
Mikesell now. Corner. 3. Watson missed that one. Missed everything on that one, really.
I think Pulliam may have gotten a little bit of a tip. If not, I'm sure Watson said she did.
Pretty uncharacteristic of Blair to not hit anything. Now 2 minutes to play in the first quarter. It's up top with Burton, defended by Masonis. Finds a lane inside, goes up, and the foul is called. So Stephanie Jones picks up the foul. Shakira Austin will check in.
And one thing I'll say about that play with Burton, Northwestern used a nice horns action to kind of just drift and make everything focus on one side, and then Burton took it back to the other side to draw some contact.
Burton very good from the free throw line typically, about 77% this season. Good on the second attempt. It's a 4-point lead for the Maryland Terrapins as they bring it across the timeline in Masonis. Watson now. Mikesell, quick release on the 3 and missed that one hard off the back of the iron. Burton coming down the far side now.
This one's dead too.
Feed all the way over. Hamilton, 3. Missed that one off the backboard. Now Mikesell will slow things down just a little bit for the Terrapins. Pretty quick tempo here in the last couple minutes.
Yeah, and that's great ball control by Mikesell, right? Noticing you don't have anything and pulling it out.
There's another bounce pass down low, Shakira Austin, but we have foul called against the Wildcats.
I got to tell you, Brendan, Faith Masonis has mastered that high-low pass from the opposite side down to Shakira Austin. That looks like clockwork, textbook, every single time. She knows she's going to be there. That trust is there.
Masonis getting a lot more playing time over the past couple of games, too, because Maryland is without a few of their key contributors due to injuries. Austin makes the first attempt, but no Olivia Owens this season, Zoe Young, Shanice Lewis, Mimi Collins, all redshirting this year. So, again, we talk year after year about the pretty short bench that Brenda Fries has at her disposal. But Faith Masonis has been a pretty good option off of that bench.
Absolutely. And even if the 13 players were healthy, she would still be playing a lot because she's just a player that gets it, knows how to play both sides, very coachable, talks a lot as a freshman, and that's very uncharacteristic.
Masonis right on cue with the steal. Mikesell able to get it back, feeds low, but Miller able to keep it in somehow. Terps a little bit on the ropes right now. Back up top. Austin, right hand, no good. And eventually Northwestern will slow things down.
And once again, Faith Masonis just knows where Shakira Austin is. Austin wasn't able to convert that time, but Masonis is going to keep finding her. Shakira's got to convert.
Under 40 seconds to play here in the first quarter. Here is Wood up top. Burton, three. Missed that one as well. And Austin went down. She's clutching her ankle. Not a good sign for the Terrapins. Shakira Austin landed awkward. Loss for Maryland, especially with one of your two strong bigs really going out with an injury for the next maybe.
Yeah, missing out on Austin's length is huge for Maryland. And even points in the paint, that is such a big component for Maryland's game.
So the shot clock is off for the Wildcats. Veronica Burton has it at the top. They will run this down to get the last shot going in to the first quarter break. Hamilton pressured at the top. Now Burton gets it back. 5 to shoot. Deflected. Hamilton, 1 to shoot. Has to put it up and does. And it does not fall as time expires on the first quarter. So an eventful first quarter here in College Park. Maryland a 17-11 lead as Shakira Austin picked up an injury, and we're not sure when or if she's going to come back in this game. That's a pretty big loss for the Terps right now.
It's a huge loss for the Terps because Austin controls the paint and her length, and they just don't have another option for a big.
Here is Watson on the near side. Masonis in the paint, no good, and the rebound pulled down by Northwestern. Tempo picking up exactly where it left off at the end of the first quarter. Wildcats in the all-purple uniforms going right to left. Shot clock again pretty low as it's deflected out of bounds. It will stay with the Wildcats.
Watson giving Burton a little bit of her own medicine there.
Here is Burton at the top. 5 to shoot now. Going through. Feeds it down low. Up off the glass. And eventually getting the roll is Abby Wolf, a senior out of Connecticut.
Watson has to rotate down low earlier so she can seal off Wolf.
Right on cue. Wolf able to get the rebound for Northwestern. Mikesell doing the defending out at the top. Burton gets it back. Had a career high 23 points against Maryland the last time the two teams met on New Year's Eve. Pass all the way over to Scheid. 4 to shoot. In the lane, back up top. Scheid puts it up and airballs it.
That's a great defensive stop by Maryland, playing the full 30 seconds of a shot clock. I know Coach Freeze is very pleased with that possession.
Mikesell brings it across. The Terps shooting about 32% from the floor. 2 of 4 from behind the arc. Air mailed right into the hands of Scheid.
One thing I'm a little curious to see is if the Wildcats get Lindsey Pulliam going. She's only taken a couple shots.
Missed it off the front of the rim. Kyla Charles has it coming the other way quickly for Maryland. Charles through traffic up the right hand. Can't get it to go. Bit of an uncharacteristic miss for Kyla Charles. Sowusu will check in momentarily for the Terrapins. Scheid has a 3 from the top of the key and knocks it down.
She just said a little something to the ref and won. She felt like she got hit on that.
Steal here, and there's going to be a foul on the floor.
And this is what Coach Freeze talks about. She says her team goes in spurts where they just relax. So Sheed hits the three, then they turn the ball over and commit a foul. Those things can't happen when you're trying to be a great team.
Terps really struggling offensively here recently. Northwestern is caught right back up with them. And the third Maryland player to enter the game for Northwestern, third player out of Maryland, I should say, is Courtney Shaw. Checks in out of Perry Hall, Maryland. Going to go inside, but then there's going to be a tie up down low. As one of Shaw's first effects on the game is that jump ball. We'll stay with the Wildcats.
And it looks like Austin's returned to the bench. I'm not sure if she'll go back in, but it looks like she's tying her shoes. But right now, Maryland could really use her.
They did get a little bit of length back with Stephanie Jones checking back into the game. But 3 to shoot for the Wildcats. Floater put up and in. Sydney Wood coming through, her first points of the afternoon. Diamond Miller trying to feed through traffic, but there was 3 Wildcats that collapsed on the lane. Feed all the way over. Pulliam brings it down. Acrobatic finish, can't get it to go, but it's going to go back to the Terrapins.
And here's the thing with the Terps right now. You don't need to panic. You're down 1. It's only 18-17. There's no need to rush your offense. Run your sets. Get out in transition. You're making uncharacteristic turnovers because you feel like you have to speed up.
5 turnovers for Maryland so far, and they've yet to score here in the second quarter. Charles, top of the key, and she ends that. Curse of the commentator right on cue. Kyla Charles putting me in my place as Maryland has the lead back.
That's what I'm saying. She has that in her bag. Kyla Charles can score at will. Whenever she wants to do it, she can, and that mid-range game is money.
Dangerous feed, but Scheid's able to corral it for the Wildcats. Now Pulliam. Contested mid-range too, and she knocks that one down.
Good defense, just better offense. And Lindsey Pulliam, that is her go-to. That 1-2 pull-up is deadly.
Watson had to reach her arm out pretty far to bring that one in, but then missed the 3 off the front of the iron. Here is Veronica Burton, has 6 points so far today, tied with Stephanie Jones to lead all scores on either team. Here's Scheid, missed that one. Tipped off of Jones, or maybe not. It did tip off of Courtney Shaw. And now we will see Jordan Hamilton return to the game for Northwestern, but really Stephanie Jones is going to be a big part of this game depending on if Shakira Austin can come back in. She's moving very gingerly down on the end of that Terps bench.
She is. And Stephanie Jones started out great in the first quarter. And she's working in there. I think there's a little bit of contact.
Well, Stephanie Jones wrestled that ball away from Northwestern and kicked it out to Mikesell, who knocked that one down. She has 6 points on the day, both from behind the arc. And that's a pretty impressive stat right there for Taylor Mikesell. She's made a 3 in 51 of her 54 career games. She's
Money
only
Mike.
a sophomore. Yeah.
Money Mike, that's what I call her.
Here is Money Mike to tip it away. But it will stay with the Wildcats right in front of Brenda Freese's bench. We're going to go into a timeout quietly here. Maryland a 2-point lead over Northwestern to help lead the Wildcats over the Terps.
And I would say it was a freshman slump a little bit because it was Taylor Mikesell and Ashley Owusu both played bad. And when you have 2 of your lead point guards playing bad, you're not going to win a game.
Here is Owusu now to win it back for the Terps, coming down very quickly the other end through traffic, puts up a 2 from the lane, and it's good.
And she's so deadly when she's going downhill and knows when to get to the spot. It's scary.
4-point lead for the Terps here with 4.5 to play in the second half. A 3 is up and good from Lindsey Pulliam, who's been a little bit quieter in this game, but now she does have 7 points so far. Charles draws the contact through the lane. So Lindsey Pulliam, we talked about, she had 22 points in the last game, and She's picking up pretty much right where she left off. 3 of 6 from the floor and made her one attempt from behind the arc.
And I got to tell you, I love that kid. I remember when she used to come to Maryland camps back when I was playing, and it's crazy to see her playing now. But even when she was young, she was always that good.
A little bit of a kind of tie-in between Kyla Charles and Lindsey Pulliam last season. When you and I were sitting at this very desk, Kyla Charles got the winner with, I think, 9/10 of a second left against Minnesota. Well, Pulliam did the same with 6/10 of a second left against Minnesota this season as she goes in the lane and draws the foul.
Both those players are very familiar with each other, too. When you're in the DMV, you play against each other a lot, and both have a lot of respect for the other's game. So it's no shock to me that they both have game winners. I wish I could see them play together, but, you know, we have a good game here.
And I talked about it. There's 3 players on the roster for Northwestern that are from the state of Maryland. That's not really by mistake either. As Joe McEwen, the Northwestern head coach, coached at GW for a very long time, so he has several connections in this area. And it's kind of shown when you have players from Olney, Silver Spring, and Perry Hall. Pulliam misses the second attempt as well. It's tipped around, and Diamond Miller able to kick it all the way out, but a bit too strong for Taylor Mikesell. That's the 6th turnover for Maryland. You talked about some of those kind of careless ones.
And it's a little thing here. Just right after Diamond Miller turned the ball over, Taylor Mikesell came down and just tapped her up. You know, just give her a little dap. And it may not seem like a big thing, but just doing something like that automatically just clears your memory of what just happened. Especially
a sophomore to a freshman, a sophomore that probably went through some of those mistakes last year.
Absolutely.
Here's Jordan Hamilton at the top, 8 to shoot for the Wildcats. Through traffic, up with the right hand and lays it off the window. Northwestern outscoring Maryland 14-8 here in the second quarter. Miller, Jones in the key, and no mistake about that one.
It's a great pass by Miller, just finding Jones. Just great ball control. She took her time, and Jones is right there to finish.
Jones now 9 points so far today. Burton at the top, hands off to Hamilton. Lobs it down low, but it's off the fingertips of Abby Wolf and out of bounds. I'd like to correct myself. That's 11 points for Stephanie Jones. I didn't add that last 2. And it seems like Maryland's decided to slow things down a little bit, too. They came out of that break kind of firing on all cylinders, and perhaps that led to some of the mistakes.
Absolutely. I think you have to. When it's not working for you on transition, run your sets.
And another tie-up down low. This time it will stay with the Terps. That's a few times we've seen that just here in the first half. You talked about the aggression coming into this game. Not only are they fighting at the top of the Big Ten, but a bit of a chip on the shoulder for Maryland after that last game when we saw the highlights coming out of the break.
Absolutely, and this game means a lot. Coach Freeze has told her players that you only have 10 games left in conference play. So each game matters. She even designed a Candyland board just to show them each game. I guess they get candy or some type of incentive, you know, to win each game. And Northwestern is star circled at the beginning of this path.
You can only win one game at a time, and any coach will tell you that. I'd like to see that Candyland board.
Yeah, they have it. Marcus, Coach Freeze's son, pointed out that they have it going the wrong way, but it still looks great.
Always the little details. Here's Diamond Miller at the top. Takes it over the far side, kicks it all the way over. Mikesell, quick release on the 3. Missed that one as well. Tips around, but it goes back to the Wildcats. It's been a long time since I played Candyland. I was just thinking about that when you said that. Waves of nostalgia. Here's Burton now for the Wildcats. Terps clinging to a 2-point advantage here with about 2 minutes left in the second quarter. Deuces are wild here in College Park. Pulliam with 8 to shoot. Gets the screen, puts it up, draws the contact. Ends up running into the back court.
And that's a tough one. Because on Pulliam's jump shot, it's kind of like Steph Curry. She kicks her feet out. So you always have to be careful as the defender to let the shooter land. I know Charles doesn't think she fouled her, but you have to let the shooter land.
Talk about Steph Curry. I was pointed out to by Matt Levine, our sideline reporter, that both teams are wearing Steph Curry shoes today. And I never would have picked up on that. But both teams sponsored by Under Armour. And then Sydney Wood of Northwestern went to the same high school as Kevin Plank. So you talk about all those DMV connections and everything. It's all somehow related.
Always.
So we slowly make our way back to the free throw line as Kyla Charles slowly makes her way over to the bench. Pulliam at the line with 7 points. She's 0 of 2 from the stripe today. Makes no mistake on that one. Terps haven't been... Sorry, go ahead.
And that's Charles' second foul, so we probably won't see her back for the rest of this half.
Especially with the bench maybe getting a little shorter without Shakira Austin, who has made her way into the middle of the Maryland bench. I don't know if that means anything.
I don't think it does. I don't think we'll see her again. She has her shoe off, ice on her ankle. I don't think she's going to come back.
So a big loss for the Terps early on in this contest. Watson all the way over trying to find Diamond Miller, who attempts to swat it in, but can't do so. It's a few times we've seen passes like that go awry for the Terps.
But careless turnovers, those can't happen. You have to be sharp on all your passes. When you're playing really good teams, mistakes like that are going to cost you.
The Terps trail by 1 here. Pulling him over to Hamilton. Wood in the corner, defended by Miller. Spinning, trying to get a pass off. A lot of contact in the lane there, I believe, by Blair Watson. Indeed it is. So Blair Watson will pick up her first foul of the day, and we will see Sarah Vujicic come into the game. Who had a pretty impressive game last time out against Illinois with 11 points in 17 minutes. Take a look here again, just Watson coming through a little strong on the back.
It's hard. When you're playing against a team like this, you want to be aggressive, but you have to adjust to how the officials are calling the game.
Here's Burton now, working against Mike Sell. 10 to shoot for Northwestern. Pulliam has a 3. No good there. Is foul called there against Hamilton, so it goes back to the Terps.
I gotta say, Brendan, they got lucky on that, though. You cannot give Pulliam any space to shoot. A hand always has to be in her face.
Masonis was the closest to her at the time, but didn't really do too much. See Maryland there, 7 turnovers with a minute left in the first half. Vujicic, top of the key, 3, missed that one. It's tipped around. Masonis tries to save it, and instead it goes back to the Wildcats. Under a minute to play here, and it's been over 2 minutes since Maryland has scored. They trail by 1 here to the number 22 team in the nation, and the leaders in the Big Ten. So Sydney Wood continues to push Maryland's lead, or excuse me, Northwestern's lead, Maryland's deficit. About a 4-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Mike Sell has it all the way out up top. Now looks to kick things into gear. Gets the screen from Jones. Mike Sell, long 2, missed it. Jones gets the rebound, puts it up. No good, and it tips around in the hands of Burton. 5 seconds left here in the first half. Burton spinning, loses control. Mike Sell heaves it up at the death and just barely misses it. So Taylor Mikesell finishes with just 3 points on the day, or on the first half, excuse me. And so we await Brenda Fries with Matt Levine on the far side. Matt?
It is. And Coach McEwen, very impressed with this team, and I'm impressed with Northwestern, but this is a winnable game for Maryland. The Terps just really aren't playing that well.
We'll hear more from Matt Lavini, who's able to catch up with Coach McEwen coming out of the locker room, but now it's deflected. There's actually going to be a foul called, I believe, on Sydney Wood against Owusu on the far side. Owusu, the freshman, coming in, has 2 points so far today on her one and only attempt from the floor. Terps will reshuffle as the refs have a little bit of a chat right in front of Blair Watson. Blair Watson has 3 points, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the first 3 points of the game, so she hasn't scored since that first three, and we haven't seen her have too much of an impact on this game so far.
No, not really. I think she's played solid defense, but other than that, she has to get going. She took a couple threes from the corner that have been hard because they were contested, but maybe Coach Freeze will help run something for her to really help get her going in the offense.
Here's Owusu. Mike Sell, drop of the shoulder. Floater put up and in. Good start for the Terps coming out of the locker room. Exactly what Brenda Freeze would have wanted.
It's a great take by Mike Sell. Seeing that the three-point shot is in there, just shot faking 1-2 floater, that's textbook.
So here is Burton. Has 6 points of her own so far. Now Pulliam puts up a long two, and it rattles in and out. Stephanie Jones pulls down the rebound. Now, we talked a bit about how important Stephanie Jones is going to be. She gives it away there to Veronica Burton. Burton stops and pulls up and cashes in. Again, turnover.
Those are the types of turnovers that cost you. You have to take care of the ball, but I blame Stephanie Jones because she's a senior, but I also blame Ashley Owusu. You have to come back to the ball. You can't wait all the way at half court.
Two combined there. Owusu's missed. Stephanie Jones cleaning up the scraps. Maryland within one here in the third quarter.
But I think the biggest thing is next play, right? Stephanie Jones turned the ball over, but then she converts down there on offense. That's what Coach Freeze wants.
Here's Sydney Wood at the top. Driving down low, Stephanie Jones able to win it back for the Terps. Owusu brings it across, a little behind the back there. Now feeds Watson in the corner. Now Owusu will smartly slow things down. Mike Sell, three. Missed that one as well, and it's tipped around. There's going to be a foul on the floor. Now would be a good time to check in with Matt Levine, who caught up with Coach McEwen.
Brandon, I spoke to Coach McEwen at the half. He said his team played much better defensively in the second quarter, holding Maryland to only 10 points. Northwestern's going to look to do that in the second half. And I asked him about close games on the road in the Big Ten. He said this league is so competitive that you'll have so many of those throughout the year. And another one today, it seems like a close game that'll come down the stretch on the road for them. He said it all comes down to rebounding in the end.
Thank you, Matt. And those rebounding, the Terps are leading in that category 23-17. Watson near side. Three is good. That's where she's best from. Blair Watson.
She must have heard us talking about her over here.
And then the high press from Watson as she is fired up, sprinting back now on the other end. Shot put up and one coming for the Wildcats. Sydney Wood staying alive with the play there. You saw Watson rushing back, but then Stephanie Jones the contact, and you made a little grimace at that.
She did. She didn't mean it. It just happened. And that's okay. I want to bring it back to Matt's point, though, talking about Coach McEwen, how on the road you just have to be better than other teams. Coach Freeze always used to say, when you go on the road, you have to be 10 points better because the home team's going to get some calls.
Now here's Burton the other end. A track meet's broken out here at Xfinity, and she converts on the other end. Give the Wildcats the lead back. Mike Sell quickly bounce past Charles, just loses the handle on that one.
And I could see Coach Blair over there kind of got up from her seat and saying, slow down, because those are those uncharacteristic turnovers we talked about. You don't have to be in a rush, and every possession does matter. There's a ton of time on the court, but you have to take care of the ball if you're Maryland.
Do you think a faster tempo game suits Northwestern better than Maryland?
No, I think, well, that's actually a great question. It suits both teams so well because they're just both very good in transition. But there are times when I think Maryland still struggles with, because they have young point guards, figuring out when to pull it back, when it's time to set it up. And that's one thing that I think Shanice Lewis did a great job of, and it's unfortunate that she's out this season.
Tearing her ACL back, and I believe it was October, and she's one of those 4 players that are redshirting. Behind the back pass, out to the far side of 3, and that one in and out, but what a play that would have been for the Wildcats. Now Charles looking to transition. Lobs in the corner for Watson, who puts up another 3, and that one rattles out. Stephanie Jones gets the rebound and puts it in. Terps are tied.
Big board from Stephanie Jones, just being at the right spot at the right time. She has such a good knack and sense for the ball.
Stephanie Jones now has 7 rebounds today. 3 on the other end from Pulliam is no good, and Watson gets the rebound. Owusu feeds in the middle. Stephanie Jones can't get that one to fall. 12 points, looking to make it 14.
Come on, D, let's go!
Here's Burton at the top. 12 to shoot on the shot clock. Stephanie Jones getting tied up with Abby Wolf. Steph Jones has just been everywhere on this floor today.
She has. She's been phenomenal. And I love Stephanie Jones because she does it on both ends of the floor. Sometimes it doesn't always show up in the stat sheet. And because I think Kyla Charles is so dominant, a lot of times what Stephanie Jones does is overlooked. But she is one of the most crucial pieces of this team. And if they want to go far in the NCAA tournament, she has to play well.
They're going to call a walk on Maryland, so it'll go the other way. But Stephanie Jones wasn't starting too much in the earlier parts of the season, but now coming in, she's started the last 6 games, including this one. I think that's really made a difference in Brenda Friese's team.
It has. And to me, Stephanie Jones always adds a level of intensity when she checks in the game because she works so hard on both ends. And that's something that Coach Friese needs.
Coach Friese would need a stop here as well to keep the momentum with the Terrapins. Burton looking to drive inside against Masonis and draws the and one. Masonis came into the game for Stephanie Jones. And that's several times we see Burton drive really hard in the lane.
I got to tell you, that is a tough take by Burton. To be honest, that's as straight up as you can be. As Masonis was.
Yeah.
It is. It can't get much better than that. But because Burton was able to lean into her body and draw that contact, that's why the official can call that foul.
She completes the 3-point play. Now Maryland looks to respond on the other end, trailing by 3. Watson feeds to Charles in the middle. Puts it up with the right hand, and the board pulled down by Pulliam. No pun intended. Here she is now, and she'll hand off to Veronica Burton, the one they call the backcourt burglar. 4th in the country and 1st in the Big Ten with 3.9 steals per game. That one tips out, will stay with the Wildcats, and we'll now head into the timeout. So Maryland trailing by 3 with a little bit of momentum here.
The Big Ten, it doesn't matter if you're at the top of the conference or the bottom of the conference. At any given moment, you could go into a game and there could be an upset. And that's why I love the Big Ten, because it's so competitive.
I've seen that a lot this season, and especially how tight the race is at the top of the standings. And Kyla Charles able to pick it up for Maryland, and the Terps will look to get a little bit of momentum here coming out of the timeout. Here's the freshman Owusu back up top to Blair Watson. Pulliam lost her footing. Charles through the lane, no good. Stephanie Jones the rebound, and it's in. How many times have I said that today?
Stephanie Jones, Stephanie Jones, Stephanie Jones.
14 points for the senior so far. Burton on the other end of 3, and that one does not rattle home. Jones, who else to pick it up for Maryland? Bounce pass to Watson. Feed across inside, and drawing the contact is Owusu. Very good cut in the lane by the freshman.
That's great transition by Maryland here. So you can see Owusu really get into the body of Abby Wolf. And that's how you draw contact, especially when you're being guarded by a bigger defender. You have to get into him, or else Wolf could have just blocked her shot easily.
Owusu makes the first attempt, shooting about 68% from the stripe this year, and she's really one of the highlights of this freshman class. 5-star recruit and ranked the #1 point guard and #5 player in the nation. One of those McDonald's All-Americans as well. One of the most prestigious honors you can get coming into college. She makes the second attempt as well, and the Terps are back in the lead. Here's Wood in the center. Spins back out. Now they'll slow things down a little bit with Burton. Burton has 13 points right now, trailing just Stephanie Jones for scores on the floor. 3 to shoot. Pulliam through traffic. Wildly puts it up, and it falls in the hands. It's going to be a shot clock violation. A few times we've seen Maryland get good stops, good defense on their end of the floor.
Absolutely. And the way they were positioned when Pulliam took that shot, there was no way she could have gotten into the paint. There was no way she could have pulled back for a step-back 3. So they had a contested 2, a tough contested 2, which is better than any shot.
Charles on the back door puts it up and in. Charles has gone a little quiet as of late, but now the Terps are up 42-39.
And Ashley Owusu with the great court vision and find, and the steal.
Feeds down, Mikesell up with the left hand, and it's in! What a play by the Terps. They're firing on all cylinders here in the third quarter. Maryland on an 8-0 run over the last about a minute and a half. They've made 3 of their last 3 from the floor. And it's been 2.5 minutes since Northwestern has put anything on the scoreboard. Burton with 5 to shoot, defended by Owusu. Feeds down low for Wolf in traffic. Puts it up in another shot clock violation. She just didn't see the clock.
And it's so loud in here. I don't even think Abby Wolf heard the shot clock violation. And that's how much these Terps have amped up this Maryland crowd.
So it's really Stephanie Jones taking over the responsibility of bringing that length to Maryland's team.
And she has to. And it's tough that Shakira Austin went down, but you can't dwell on that, right? Next play, and that's what Stephanie Jones and this Maryland team has done.
Mikesell on the far side for the Terps. Feeds it over to Blair Watson. Now Jones back up top to Mikesell. Quick ball movement by the Terps. 10 to shoot. Cross-court pass. Watson, Mikesell. Now Owusu. Tries the step back. Mikesell clears some room, puts up the 3, and it can't go. And eventually Scheid gets the rebound for the Wildcats. Maryland under the pressure of that dwindling shot clock. Now here's Burton for Northwestern. She has 13 points so far. Pulliam puts it up and airballed it into the hands of Mikesell. The crowd's not going to let her forget that one. Owusu looks to drive inside, up and in.
Once again, being ready when your number's called. How about her second half performance, right? She's hit some buckets, gotten some steals, and on top of that, she's been able to find her teammates, and she feels like she's controlling the game.
She will be called for the foul there, Owusu. She has 6 points so far and 4 assists. Really seeing a lot more playing time with injuries to Shanice Lewis, but you might even be able to argue that she might get some playing time over Lewis.
I would agree. I think she brings a different dynamic to this team that Shanice may not necessarily have to their game, and there's also something that Shanice brings that isn't a part of her game.
There's going to be a foul call, but that's a good problem for Brenda Fries to have when you have 2 strong point guards with different aspects that they can bring to your offense.
Absolutely, and I think when they can both play, they will both complement each other.
So we pick things up with Owusu at the line. Just 2 of 2 from the stripe so far today. We're going to see Faith Massonis momentarily for Maryland. If you needed the reminder, the Terps on a 10-0 run over the last 3.5 minutes. Owusu, good from the stripe again.
A 10-0 run, and we haven't even really heard from Kyla Charles. So once she gets going again, this could get scary.
How many games have we seen where she's been quiet for the first 3 quarters, then the fourth she just comes alive and really helps Maryland push the advantage?
Far too many.
Yeah.
I feel like fourth quarter is her quarter, so I think it's only a matter of time. We have 45 seconds.
And Owusu got a bit of a standing ovation there from the Xfinity Center as she exited for the remainder of the third quarter. Bounce pass to Burton, now Scheid, puts up a long 3, missed it off the back of the rim, pulled down inside by Pulliam. The foul, I believe, is going to be on the floor. Perhaps not, but that's going to be Blair Watson. And Pulliam skied through pretty much everybody. She's only 5'10". By no means the tallest or strongest player down there, but she just kind of seemed to soar through the middle of the pack. Take another look here.
She's athletic, but I didn't realize she was that athletic. She just grabbed that.
So she heads to the line and missed that one. Now 4 of 6 from the stripe today is Pulliam, only the 10 points. I say only, she consistently puts up 20 or so per game. 10 is still very impressive. Makes no mistake on the second. Now we'll see Owusu come back into the game for Faith Massonis. And what do you think is going through Joe McEwen's head in the last 30 seconds of the third quarter?
I think he's trying to figure out how he can get his team to score. I think Maryland's done a great job of picking it up on defense, and now it's kind of up to Northwestern to really figure out what holes they can pick for that defense.
3-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. It's been about 5 minutes since Northwestern has made a shot from the floor. Owusu, top of the key, puts it up and can't get it to rattle home. Now with 8 seconds, Pulliam is coming across the timeline quickly. 4 seconds, over to Burton. Drops the shoulder, puts up a wild 3 at the death. No good, and we head into the third quarter break. So Maryland ends on a 12-1 run over the last 4 minutes here. And really, it's going to be a battle down to the end of it. So Maryland back here on the Big Ten Network. Maryland in front 48-40. And this could really have some pretty big implications on the top of the Big Ten standings.
They're the top of the top, the best of the best. And that's why this game is so important, because the championship and the winner of the regular season is going to be decided by a single game.
And that's what you want. That's fun. That's what makes this conference so riveting, and you're glued to every single game. Also, on the other end, I don't know how that shot did not go in for Northwestern. That seemed destined to fall through the bucket.
I don't either.
But nonetheless, Maryland's still on a run, but it's going to be an offensive foul called against Stephanie Jones. That will be her third. She will have 14 points. Another look here.
Yeah, a little bump, little dip of the shoulder.
Seemed like a little wry smile from Stephanie Jones as well.
She knew.
There's a steal there, but the foul is going to be called on Sydney Wood for Northwestern. Just kind of feels like Blair Watson's tenacity has picked up a little bit as the game has gone on.
Absolutely. And I think she wants to be number 1 in steals and on defense.
She's really been right behind.
She is. And she's been going at Burton, so I like it.
Here she is now. Blair Watson feeds into Owusu. Came to the top of the key. Now Charles receives it down low, puts it up, and it does not rattle home. But there's going to be a foul on the floor. Northwestern pleading their case, and I believe that might come on Abby Scheid.
And I think it was a foul. Stephanie Jones was in the air, and Scheid started boxing her out. You have to let her land.
Right there, you see it. Exactly how you described it. The inbound was made to Kyla Charles. It's going to go back Northwestern. I was in the process of looking up from the replay. The crowd does not agree with the call.
And Kyla doesn't either.
You know, I think Kyla might disagree with every call that's not in her favor. She's one of those passion players, especially in this period of the game where really every possession counts. Now here's Burton, look to drive through the center. Blocked there by Stephanie Jones. Good handles by Watson to escape the danger. Now Owusu looks to take it through the paint. It's going to be called a blocking foul against the Wildcats. In the third quarter, we touched on the transition game for both teams, how Maryland was making some mistakes earlier on. Here, they've gotten it down.
Absolutely. I think they've started taking care of the ball. They aren't forcing things, and that's probably what Coach Free said in the huddle. Or they heard us over here on the broadcast.
That could be it, too. Here's Owusu. Puts it up. Can't get that one to go home. It's tough for either team to really get anything to fall. We haven't seen any points here in the fourth quarter.
No, a lot of shots ribbing in and out.
Northwestern in a little bit of foul trouble now. More on that in just a second as they look to inbound. You see there Wood, Scheid, and Hamilton all with 3 apiece. Fed in the middle. Mike Sell inside. Don't see her there too much. Then pulled down by Scheid. The Wildcats will look to bring it across the timeline through Burton. Feed over into the corner. And they draw the and one on the 3-point shot. So the possibility of a 4-point play coming for Lindsey Pulliam.
That's a big shot, Brendan. You see it here. It goes to the corner, goes up and in. And I'm guessing it was the same thing of what we talked about down here. Pulliam kicks her feet from under her when she shoots, so you have to let her land.
If she will head to the line, if she knocks that one down, she's now 5 of 8. She completes the 4-point play.
And that's a huge swing. And that's what Coach Free says, right? This is a game of runs. Northwestern's going to go on their runs, and so is Maryland, but the Terps can't panic.
So 48-44 here with a little under 8 minutes to play. Masonis drops the shoulder inside, trying to feed it back up top, and has it knocked down. Hamilton brings it across. Feeds into the corner, tipped out by Blair Watson. So our Matt Levine was able to get an update on Shakira Austin, who left the game earlier on.
Brennan, Shakira is doubtful to return in this one. Suffered an ankle injury early in the first half and left for the remainder half. Now doubtful to return. She was icing the ankle, was in and out of the locker room. Now sits on the bench to watch the rest of the game, but she'll be reevaluated towards the end of the week this week.
That is something that the rest of the Maryland staff will certainly be keeping their eye on, because that's a pretty big loss for Maryland. But we have a timeout here on the floor as Northwestern really right back into